In nature, predators always target the weak. Human society is no different. Bullies, manipulators, and social predators operate on one fundamental principle. They attack those they perceive as vulnerable. Traditional advice about ignoring bullies or taking the high road is not just ineffective, it's dangerous. It marks you as prey. Machiavelli understood this brutal truth 500 years ago when he wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." This is not about morality. This is about survival. In this Machiavellian guide, we will expose the 7 strategic pillars for annihilating a bully's power structure while maintaining complete deniability. These are not schoolyard tactics. These are psychological warfare maneuvers used by history's most effective rulers, generals, and strategists. You are about to learn how to weaponize perception, manipulate social dynamics, and engineer your enemy's destruction without ever throwing a punch. Lesson 1. The silent assassination of reputation. Every tyrant's power rests on perception. Destroy the perception, and you destroy the tyrant. The Machiavellian operator understands that direct confrontation is for fools. Your first move must be intelligence gathering. Study your enemy's social ecosystem. Who are their key supporters? What insecurities do they mask with aggression? What lies form the foundation of their reputation? With this knowledge, you begin a calculated whisper campaign. Plant seeds of doubt among their inner circle using carefully framed observations. Isn't it strange how Mark always talks about his business success, but never shows proof? Or, I heard Sarah say some pretty nasty things about you when you weren't around. The key is plausible deniability. Your comments should appear as casual observations, never direct accusations. As Machiavelli observed, he who wishes to deceive will never fail to find willing dupes. When executed properly, the target won't even realize you're behind their sudden social exile until it's too late. Lesson 2. The art of strategic gaslighting. Psychological dominance isn't about physical strength. It's about controlling the narrative. When your bully attempts to provoke you, respond with amused detachment. Their insults, meet them with a slight smile and that's all you've got. Their threats, counter with, "You seem very emotional right now. Are you okay?" This reversal of emotional framing is devastating because it robs them of their power source. The Machiavellian master knows that bullies feed on fear and anger. By responding with calm indifference or even mock concern, you trigger their deepest insecurity, the fear that they're not intimidating. For maximum effect, occasionally switch between warmth and icy detachment to keep them psychologically off balance. As Sun Tzu, a thinker Machiavelli would have admired, wrote, "All warfare is based on deception. Your unpredictability becomes their psychological prison." Lesson 3. Manufacturing irresistible traps. The most satisfying victories come when your enemy walks willingly into their own destruction. Study your target's behavioral patterns, their temper triggers, their compulsive behaviors, their arrogance tells. Then engineer situations where these flaws manifest spectacularly in public view. For the hot-headed bully, casually mention how some people say you lose control when challenged in front of their peers. Then wait for the inevitable meltdown. For the arrogant show-off, bait them into making an outrageous claim you can disprove before an audience. The Machiavellian genius lies in the setup. The trap must appear completely organic, with no visible connection to you. As Machiavelli counseled, never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. When the bully's reputation crumbles before their eyes, they'll have no one to blame but themselves. Lesson 4. The bureaucratic guillotine. Why dirty your hands when you can have the system execute your justice? Every organization has rules, and every rule can be weaponized. The Machiavellian strategist meticulously documents every minor infraction, then anonymously feeds this information to those in power. Frame your complaints as concern for the greater good rather than personal grievance. If your bully is a coworker, highlight how their behavior creates a hostile work environment. If it's a classmate, emphasize how their actions disrupt the learning environment. The key is speaking the language of institutional self-interest rather than personal vendetta. Machiavelli understood this when he wrote, "Men are so simple and yield so readily to the desires of the moment that he who will trick will always find another who will suffer to be tricked." Let the machinery of bureaucracy crush your enemy while you remain the concerned citizen. Lesson 5. The cultivation of controlled menace. Fear is the most potent social currency, but its value lies in perception rather than reality. The Machiavellian operator cultivates an aura of unpredictable competence. Occasionally, let slip cryptic comments about your connections or resources. When challenged, respond with a knowing smile rather than denial. Your wardrobe, posture, and speech patterns should project quiet confidence that suggests hidden depths. For maximum psychological impact, occasionally demonstrate competence in unexpected areas, perhaps casually mentioning your martial arts training or legal knowledge when relevant. As Machiavelli observed, "It is unnecessary for a prince to have all the good qualities, but it is very necessary to appear to have them." When your bully starts wondering what else they don't know about you, their aggression will turn to hesitation, then to retreat. Lesson 6. The siege warfare approach. Identify what sustains your enemy's power and systematically cut off each supply line. Is their strength based on social media popularity? Engineer situations where their posts backfire spectacularly. Do they rely on physical intimidation? Ensure witnesses are always present, or better yet, arrange for authority figures to, coincidentally, witness their behavior. The Machiavellian general understands that starvation is more effective than direct assault. As the target grows increasingly desperate to regain their eroding power, they'll make mistakes. Mistakes you'll be positioned to exploit. This is the essence of Machiavelli's advice. There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of others. By choosing when and how your enemy fights, you've already won. Lesson 7. The puppeteer's revenge. The ultimate victory comes when your enemy becomes the instrument of their own destruction. Through subtle suggestions and carefully placed doubts, guide them toward increasingly reckless behavior. The arrogant bully can be maneuvered into challenging someone far more dangerous. The social manipulator can be tricked into betraying the wrong person. The Machiavellian master remains completely removed, watching as their target walks blindly off the cliff. This is what Machiavelli meant when he wrote, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." While others react emotionally, you've been playing chess while they played checkers. These strategies are not about petty revenge. They're about reclaiming your sovereignty in a world that rewards strength and punishes weakness. As Machiavelli warned, the promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. When dealing with predators, your morality must be flexible enough to ensure your survival. Implement these tactics with precision, patience, and most importantly, complete deniability. Let your enemies destroy themselves while you emerge stronger, wiser, and untouchable. The game of power never ends. The only question is, will you be the player or the pawn? Now you must decide, will you continue being the victim of circumstance, Or will you take your first step toward Machiavellian mastery? The choice is yours, but remember, in the game of power, hesitation is the first step toward defeat.